Watson.
And I'm Aaron Watson.
We met at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, in an a cappella group.
Yeah.
Aaron likes to tell this part of the story of his first interaction.
Yeah, we met, I first saw Tiffany at the end of our freshman year. She was in a cappella singing group called Harmonics, and so I went to the concert. And Black community at UNC is pretty small, but I hadn't run into her before, so I was like, who's that? So I put the word out after seeing her and after seeing the concert and everything. So we got introduced, and then I joined the group the year after, and then after that, we just became friends and got to know each other, and we started talking our junior year. Yeah.
Aaron proposed, so we were actually in Las Vegas for my uncle's wedding. And after the reception, he said that he had like the reservation in some restaurant. It was actually at Mandalay Bay, top level. And I was like, okay, cool. Didn't really think anything of it. Like he said, we can get like some dessert or something like that after the reception. So we go up there, and I hear them say, actually, no, you didn't say you had a reservation. You just act like it was something on the fly. So we get there, and they say, oh, okay, Mr. Watson, we have a table for you. I'm like, oh, look at you planning, like ahead, like thinking. And now that, you never know with men sometimes when it comes to planning. Just a joke. But anyway, so we get up there to the top level, and they sit this nice table. You have a view of the whole Vegas Strip and everything. And we're just talking, enjoying the scene and all that. And so what had happened? I said, I love you, just randomly to him, just said, I love you. And then he said, I love you more. And I was like, prove it. Like, how do you really love me more? And so he proceeds to reach into his pocket and pulls out the engagement ring. And as he was pulling it out, I'm thinking, I hope this is a ring and not just a pair of earrings or something like that. So when I see the ring, everything, and I'm sure a lot of women can relate to this, you don't really hear anything. You're just looking at the ring like, what is happening right now? And I think in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I think he said, will you marry me? I have to answer him. I haven't answered him yet. So eventually, of course, I said yes, and the rest is history. When I hear the word infertility, I would say initially it just felt like a foreign word for one when I first heard it. Something that you don't really hear too much in the African American community, which was definitely an adjustment for us as we started to experience that. But now when I hear infertility, I don't know. In a way, I think I started to see it as like opportunity.
When I think of the word infertility, I think of unexpected obstacle, because it's not something that you think that, it never crossed my mind. Like, and so for all the things that I imagine, we might struggle with in marriage, it just never crossed my mind. So then when we got to that point, I just think that it was just this unexpected struggle. It's like, what do you even do with this? When we got the diagnosis, I think it kind of, it hit both of us hard, but it was noticeably hard for Tiffany. So I went into, I'm the man, I'm the husband, so I need to go into support mode and, I'm trying to be supportive and, find all the Bible scriptures and, church it up and, say, it's going to be okay, and just kind of, be positive energy. And with that, it ended up creating a breakdown because I was putting on a face like I was cool with it. And so inside I was really struggling. Inside I was, crumbling. I was having my moments where, when I could get to myself, like I was like really just like breaking down, but I felt like I gotta be strong, I gotta be the man for Tiffany. But Tiffany wasn't seeing any of that. And so that was making her feel like she was the only one kind of like going through the emotional struggle and the emotional toll.
Or they don't care.
Right. Right. And so with me thinking that I'm doing my husband duty to kind of fill in the gap and be the supporter, it really was a thing where I was making her feel more isolated.
At the deepest moments, I definitely felt angry with God. I probably even used some words that I probably shouldn't use in conversations with God, just being very honest and transparent about it. But I mean, it helped me to get it out. And I think, I've definitely heard sermons, especially at Alfred Street, where, God is big enough, he can handle your anger. He can handle your frustration, your bitterness at times, your sadness, all that. He knows what's going on, but he also knows what's like coming in the future as well. So I felt okay with being very honest with God. And, even as I've talked with other women who are going through this, I tell them, like, look, be honest about your emotions. Like, it's okay to be angry sometimes. Like, it's okay to be sad. You're going to feel bitter. The peace will come eventually. The joy will come eventually. But just reminding them, like, it's okay to feel that way because you need to get it out. Like, internalizing it was not good for me. It wasn't going to be good for our marriage. I mean, there were times, like, it was hard to, like, talk to each other because it was, like, changing what our future looked like, or what, the hypothetical conversations we would have early on in our marriage. Like, it was changing all of that. So we had to, like, reevaluate, like, what is our legacy going to look like as husband and wife? Really hard to have faith while, dealing with infertility or, like, the struggle of it, because you're at church, you're listening to the songs, you're leading songs that say God said it, I believe it, and like in those darkest moments, it would always be that week where I was like really just mad at God that week, and the director comes like, oh, I need you to lead this song. I'm like, I am not in the place right now that I'm going to be singing to God. And it's like in the beginning of the week, but come that weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I was in a better headspace. I was in a better moment, with God. But it was definitely a struggle. Even like baby dedications, for instance, like being there for church and you're just sitting there like, trying to be happy for people, because you never know what their struggles were. And then that's something, that we found out eventually as you open up more, you start to hear other people's stories where you really feel like you're not alone. But it was definitely like the biggest faith struggle by far that I've ever had in my life, to like still believe in a God that is a provider, that God is able. And people come to me like, God is able, and I'm thinking, but is he willing? Like, that was always the struggle for me. I was actually in the middle of conducting like an interview, and so went to the other room and like played the voicemail for him, and in his natural way, he's like, cool. That's Aaron, by the way. He's very calm, cool, and collect, but he was like, cool. And I was just like, okay. But just going through that initial no to finally hearing like the yes and congratulations.
It's another faith exercise to say that, God blessed us. Like, we're not going to think all these, negative thoughts or wait for another shoe to drop. Like, we're really going to enjoy this time that we have in this period. I'm grateful that we were able to open up, to tell the story, not only to find the community, but to when we, were able to announce, and that, there's a difference in announcing a pregnancy and, it's like, oh, congratulations. But now to, when the story behind it, the testimony is how God gets the glory. Like, this is clearly something that has been years and years of prayer, and not just our family and our parents and ourselves, but, to have our friends and our church family, praying as well, so that when the breakthrough does come, that's, God gets the glory. And so it's I think initially we were kind of wanting to have it a little bit more clean. It was like, okay, we made it, and this is the story, and we'll tell it on the back end. But as part of that faith walk, to be able to tell the story, not knowing how it turns out, and then when it does turn out, that's a special kind of testimony and rejoicing, and just being able to experienced that with our family and our friends and our church family, and seeing the reactions of people that have prayed for us, and that, you know, their prayers have been answered too. And so being open about it also allows for other people to pour into you, and to be in community, so that, you know, in all of this, God gets the glory. You know, it's not anything that we've done. It's only by God's grace that, you know, we've made it. It's only by God's grace that we're together. It's only by God's grace that, you know, we're pregnant. It's only by God's grace that, you know, God is going to deliver and we're going to have a healthy baby in a few months. And so there's still things to pray for. You know, there are a lot of factors in the mix, but to have the faith to expect that, you know, if God has gotten us to this point, that there is not going to be another, you know, shoe that drops, that we're going to have the faith that, you know, everything is going to go smoothly, and, you know, we can, you know, meet our daughter and continue and start a new chapter in our lives.